Hello. Let me make sure I'm set up. Okay. Hello and welcome to another episode of This is Rico Trying to Heal My Inner Child. I hope it wasn't too jarring seeing my midsection at the beginning of the video, but I wanted to show off this shirt that someone had made for me. And I was reminded of the shirt because someone in the group chat had mentioned merchandising. And there was a story with this shirt with an office kitty. There was an office kitty that was it was a picture I saw on Facebook, I believe, but it was somebody had printed something out and up on a wall in a doorway it said, "This is Office Kitty," with a picture of the cat, and underneath it said, "Office Kitty bites and scratches. Do not bother Office Kitty." And I thought that was funny, and I joked with this person about, I should make a sign that says that, or I should make a T-shirt that says that with my picture. Don't bother Rico. And then a couple weeks later, this friend shows up and says, "Hey, I made you this shirt." And this shirt, this picture is actually from like Halloween 2018. You can see I'm wearing goggles on the top of my head, and you can't tell in the picture, but my hair is spray painted silver. I was like a mad scientist. I ended up just kind of looking like Rick from Rick and Morty. Instead of Rick, I was Rico. Rico, get it? But anyway, that inspired me to do other stuff like this. Customizable Zippo, so I made one of those. And then I made myself another t-shirt, and then I made a pair of Vans. I have a customizable pair of Vans with this on the side that says "Don't bother Rico," and this picture on the side of my shoes. And then I used this picture for my YouTube profile picture. So I think from here on out, that picture is going to be the Rico brand picture, if you know what I mean, like the little copyright picture of Rico. So I'm also going to do this video in different sections because I've been crashing, or not me. The website has been crashing. Whenever I try doing longer, I just did 17 minutes and I had to start over. So I'm going to do little tiny 3-minute, 4-minute, and see if maybe if I'm in the middle of a section and it crashes, hopefully I only lose that short section and not the whole video like I did last time. So I'm going to take little breaks like this, and I will be back with you in just a moment. All right, now back to the show, back to the episode. I do want to remind everyone that I am not a doctor. I am not a therapist. I am not a medical professional in any way. Just a regular guy trying to navigate through life, trying to navigate through what's going on in here, because there's a lot. There's a lot. And I compare it to carrying a giant trunk on your back. And the more you unload, the more you take out, the lighter it gets. And that's how this series of videos has been helping me. I can feel it lighter already. I can feel just by getting these little things out. I have to get these out. I have to get it out of my system, out of my soul. I feel better already. And I'm not trying to, encourage anything. If anyone's having problems, if anyone doubts their mental illnesses, see a professional. See someone, talk to anyone, talk to someone that will listen. There's plenty of them out there. But I know that I'm feeling the benefits of it already. I was so close to the edge. and I just wanted to go over the edge. I was ready to go. And there was a whole bunch of hands and a whole bunch of help, and they pulled me from that edge. My friends, my son, they all made sure that I didn't go over that edge. And I will always be grateful for that. Always. I hope you guys know that. I don't think I can express it enough with these words. I couldn't express it enough with an entire video talking about it to express the gratitude I have. So thank you so much. These videos are a series of me just unpacking my life stories and getting them out. Getting rid of them, I suppose. You got to tell the story and then you get it out of the trunk, and then your trunk is lighter. So, having said that, today's episode, we're going to cover religion. I was going to go in a different direction. I had thoughts of going in a different direction yesterday, but between yesterday and today, I had a lot of thoughts on religion. And then I wrote 2 pages in like 20 minutes. So I'm going to do this first because it's all fresh. So I want to start by saying I'm not against religion. I'm not against anyone that believes. I'm not against anyone that practices or, any of that. And when I talk about religion and when I talk about religious people, I am only referring to the people that I have experienced personally in my life, the people that I dealt with, the people that I knew personally firsthand. So I do not in any way want to imply that all church people are this way or all churches are this way. Not at all. I'm just talking about my experiences with the churches I went to and what it all did to me. And again, even with the people I'm talking about, which is all going to be vague, I'm not implying that they're like bad people. I'm not implying that they're like evil or anything. But I guess what I'm just saying is that there's kind of more to them than they let you believe. There's more than meets the eye, really. And, practice what you preach kind of thing. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break and I'll be right back. Getting back to the subject of religion, like I said before, I'm not against any of it, and I'm not against the people. I just never, from the early age, from the time that I'm thinking of, when I was very, very young, I grew up in a Catholic family. So we'd go to Catholic church and we'd go to mass. And I didn't understand any of it. None whatsoever. I didn't understand what was going on. Uh, why are we sitting? Why are we standing? Why are we kneeling? But nobody would explain anything. I think they just kind of expected me to know what was going on. And then the guy in the dress would come out and mumble a bunch of words, and everybody in the stands would mumble back in unison, and I could never understand what they were saying. I never understood their little prayers. I didn't understand the words. And every time I would ask, nobody would tell me. So I didn't care to learn myself. I didn't want to even be there. And, years later, I mentioned something because I was going to a different church when I was an adult and talked about Barabbas. And my mom was like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, why didn't you tell me that? Why didn't you ever tell me any of these Bible stories? They would only use like the 10 Commandments to their advantage, like to honor mother and father, but never really, really knew much about the Bible, I don't think. We never opened it. We never read it. But for some reason, we were all expected to go to church and do what the guy in the dress says. Watch him eat cookies and drink punch. I didn't understand it. And I would, what is happening? What is he doing? Mom, what's he doing? Shh. So it was just like I went through it blindly. I think And I think this is just my interpretation, but I think a lot of people just kind of go through like religion just blindly. They don't really follow anything, but they call themselves a Catholic or they'll call themselves something. And I'm not judging them. I'm not judging anyone. I'm the last person to judge. I don't judge. But when you say you're something and then you act the complete opposite, that's disingenuous. But I do know that religion affected me at a very early age. I remember being like 5 or 6 years old and being afraid of death already. Being afraid, actually having anxiety attacks because I was going to die one day. And what happens if I go to hell? What happens if I'm not good enough and I go to hell? And I'm like 5 or 6 years old and already worrying about stuff like that. That's pretty heavy for a child of that age. But I was, worried about stuff like that. But anytime I would ask questions, they just kind of acted like I was asking dumb questions and I should know the answer to these questions. And you should already know this stuff. You should have been born pre-programmed. But nobody taught me anything. And then when I didn't know, they would make fun of me for not knowing. And that really, really sticks with you too. Nobody taught me. How was I supposed to know? But for some reason, I was supposed to know. I'd say, oh my God. And my mom would hear me and she would like reprimand me for using God's name in vain. But then, the next day I could hear her in the background going, God damn it. Wait a minute. Why is it okay for you, but you're going to scold me? But anytime I questioned something like that, it was always met with because I said every time. I don't think I've ever had a serious discussion with my mom because she would just have her mind set on something and just when you would question it, she would because I said so. And that was it. There was no discussion. If you questioned it, she'd call the old man and we don't want to do that because he's going to lecture you for 45 minutes telling you how dumb you are. Well, me. And they used that Bible. They used that honor than mother, father. I remember my mom telling me, you should be showering us with gifts. You should be doing this and this for us. You should be, always disappointed because no matter what we did for them, it was just not enough. There should have been more. There should have been more. She said that the mother and the father are the neck and the head of the family, and the kids are the hands, and you should be bringing stuff back to the head. And she was genuinely disappointed that we weren't showering them with gifts. She always wanted us to be bringing them stuff and wanted us to be, catering to them and doing it their way and everything. Even when we were like adults with our own families, she felt like she was still the matriarch and just was still in charge and was still telling us what to do. Never ever did they like pass the torch and say, "Hey, we raised our family. Now you go raise your family." But ooh. One time I asked my parents to babysit my kids, my boys, when they were like 5 or 6. They were little, but they weren't babies. So they stayed there for the afternoon and we went shopping or something. Came back to pick them up. My dad looks me in the eyes and says, we're not obligated to watch your kids. And I thought he was joking. And I started laughing and I was like, you should be calling and asking me to drop the kids off so you could hang out with them. But he was not joking. He was serious and he said it again. And he said it again like 4 times. We're not obligated to watch your kids. And then I got mad that he said that. And he got mad at me for being mad, which is one of the topics I'm going to get into quite a bit. He would push me and then make me mad, and then when I got mad, that's the problem. And then he would yell and raise his voice and scream, and but going back to the church stuff, they would just use the Bible too. Bible says, Bible says. And even when I went to the Christian church when I was an adult, I could see through the BS. I could see through it. They just want your money and your time, and that's it. I gave so much time, and I'm not saying I deserved anything in return, but a little appreciation would have been nice. But you give, and then when you need help and you ask for help, they would just be like, nah. Okay, we'll help you, but first you have to grovel. You have to get on your knees, get on your hands and knees, and beg for it. Had to sit through an interview, had to talk to somebody about my situation, had to sit there and be judged by some person like I was at a job interview. Okay, we'll help you this one time, but we really don't want to do this again. It's kind of how they finished it. They gave us a little bit. Go there for like 8 years, and they're like, yeah, we'll help you one time. But when you give and you give, but you don't get anything in return, it's quite discouraging. It was just the same outcome, the same people, the same judging, the same everything. I wanted to belong, and I didn't. And I didn't. And I tried, and I didn't. So I'm going to take a quick break, and I'm going to come right back with some conclusion on this topic. Just because religion turned me off. I shouldn't say religion. I should say maybe people have turned me off to it. I believe what I believe, and to put it bluntly, I don't believe. I don't believe there's a God. I don't believe there's a devil. I don't believe there's any of that. And these are just my own personal beliefs. But I will say that I consider myself a Satanist. Now, for those that don't know, Satanism, it's pretty much atheism, but with a set of moral rules, moral code, similar to the Ten Commandments. In my own humble opinion, I think this set of tenets, there's 7 tenets. I think that they're superior to the commandments, but that's just my opinion. That's all. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying this is how I frame my life now. I didn't always, but I do now. So, with that, there are 7 tenets. Number 1, one should strive to act with compassion and empathy towards all creatures in accordance within reason. Within reason. If a bear's trying to kill you and it's either you or the bear, then you have to kill the bear. But I think they're just saying, empathy and compassion is pretty much all creatures, all of them, even the little ones. Number 2, the struggle for justice is an ongoing and necessary pursuit that should prevail over laws and institutions. Sometimes laws are made by dumb people, and they make dumb laws. And, sometimes those laws don't conform to what justice really is. Number 3, one's body is inviolable, subject to one's own will alone. That one right there. Your body is your body, and you do with it what you want. If you want, for example, an abortion, that should be between you and your doctor. And that's it. Nobody else has any say in any of that. Number 4, the freedom of others should be respected, including the freedom to offend. To willfully and unjustly encroach upon the freedoms of another is to forego one's own. So if I want to be free to be who I am, part of it is I got to be free to let the asshole be the asshole. And there's plenty of them out there. Quite honestly, you can't change anyone that doesn't want to be changed. If they want to be an asshole, they're going to be an asshole, and you just have to let it be. Sometimes you just stay away from it. Number 5, beliefs should conform to one's best scientific understanding of the world. One should take care never to distort scientific facts to fit one's beliefs. Never distort facts to fit beliefs. That makes a lot of sense to me. It really, really does. I mean, it really does. I mean, so far, all of these really, touch home with me. Number 6, people are fallible. If one makes a mistake, one should do one's best to rectify it and resolve any harm that might have been caused. And that was something I had mentioned earlier. Like I remember having a conflict with somebody, maybe a coworker, and I could just feel it weighing my heart down. So I went back to that coworker and I said, "Hey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was out of line. I'm sorry. I apologize." And I felt that weight just lift, and they accepted my apology, and we got back to being where we were, and we went back to work, and everything was fine. And I said before, if you feel like that and you apologize to someone and they don't accept your apology, that's on them. You at least tried, and then you know in your heart that you tried. So uh, I've been a liar and a cheat in the past when I was really young. Well, in my early years, not when I was super young, not when I was a kid, but when I got older, when I was a teenager, I was kind of a scoundrel. And I do remember being foolish. And sometimes I wish I could go back to that situation and make it right and fix it and apologize to whoever I tormented or bothered. You know, I wish I could do that. But anyway, back to the list. Number 7, every tenet is a guiding principle designed to inspire nobility in action and thought. The spirit of compassion, wisdom, and justice should always prevail over the written or spoken word. The spirit of compassion, wisdom, and justice. That right there is enough for me. And that's how I want to live my life. Compassion, wisdom. I want to learn as much as I can. I'm never going to pretend to be the smartest guy in the room ever, but I'm not a dummy. And I love learning new things always. I'm always like a sponge. Like if it's something that really interests me, then suddenly I want to know as much as I can about it. Lately, I've been really focused on politics and watching what's going on with that. And every day I'm just like, what's happening now? I need to know what's happening now. But times when I hear that people are going to go hungry because Big Shot, felt like it. I feel that. I feel that. I feel those people's pain. I feel all that pain. I feel like when Obi-Wan was on the Millennium Falcon and then Alderaan was destroyed and he felt that. That's how it is for me. I feel a lot more than I should. It's overwhelming sometimes, and it's really, really kind of crushing. But spirit of compassion. We just have to help each other. There's some people out there that need help. We all need some help. We all do. Tough love and starving people and being cruel, that's not the way to do it. That's not the way to do it at all. You either create more empaths and compassionate people, or you create psychopaths. And that's kind of the only way. I was treated a certain way by certain people I trusted, people I looked up to, and it rattled me real bad. And I don't want that to happen to anyone else. Like, I know what it feels like to have been treated like that. So I don't want you to get treated like that. I don't want you to feel what I felt. I know there are guys out there that they have the attitude of, oh, my dad smacked me around, so I turned out okay, so I smacked my kid around. And I asked them, like, did you like it? Did you enjoy it when your dad was smacking you around? Did you like how it made you feel? And 100% of the time, they don't. And I just kind of ask, like, why did you make him feel that? Or when I worked with my brother and he was the installer and I was the helper, and he started treating me like shit. And then one day he was just like, oh, when I first started, they treated me like shit, so now I get to do it to you. And see, that's where we're different, because if I went somewhere and they treated me like shit purposely on just for fun, treating me like garbage, I would make sure to not let the next guy feel like that. I would cut it off right there. But not him. No, he took full advantage, and he treated me like I was his little tiny bitch helper, and talked to me like it too. So I'm going to take a quick break, and then I'm going to conclude this video, and I will be right back. All right. So in conclusion, to finish this video out, and I do like this format of doing it in short sections. I can make a nice long video with short bits. It hasn't crashed on me at all, so that's good. That's knock on wood. And yeah, to finish this video though, the term Satanism, it's just a term. They use the name Satan, meaning the opposer, or one that opposes. And that's it. It's just a title. Like I said, we're atheists with rules, and I live my life within those rules, and they're not anything out of the ordinary, not anything that shouldn't be lived already. And just want to finish out by saying again that my opinions on religion are my opinions. I don't mean to demean or be disrespectful to anyone at all. I just have my own feelings and what it did to me, and I just wanted to share that. Now I just live my life according to these rules, and I feel good about it. I understand it, and I know what I'm doing. Finally, in my life, I've been here a long time, and I never knew what I was doing. I was just riding in that boat with no paddle, with no whatever you call that thing that steers the boat. I don't know. I don't do boats. I don't know why I used a boat reference. Or it's like that forklift thing that I drove at Pepsi, and we crashed into each other, and then I broke the steering on it, and it didn't work right. Kind of like that. When you're going somewhere, but you don't have any control of it. Kind of like that. So yeah, religion was just a weird time for me. And I gave a lot of time, and I gave a lot of effort, and I gave a lot of money. And I know I sound probably stingy by saying all this stuff, but there was not even any appreciation Then after all that giving, they would put on this big giant Christmas concert, and we would all get there, and they would try to take more donations so they could give more money to the one guy that gets paid. Wait, he's getting paid for this. I'm not getting paid for this. I'm volunteering my time. Where's my present? Where's my donation? It was so backwards. Let's give the rich guys a little bit more. So it felt good to talk about that. It felt good to you know, state my position on what I believe and don't believe. As everyone is free to believe what they do, what they believe. And again, I don't mean any disrespect to anyone. I don't discourage, or not discourage. I don't mean to like demean or anything. Everyone's free to believe what they want. And I'm not judging anyone for that. Like I said, I was just dealing with the people that I dealt with in the past. Not that any of them are going to hear this. But yeah, it was good to talk about that one. And I want to finish out. What do I want to finish out with? Because I went through my list. I went through all my stuff. I don't have a joke because I have this notebook where I wrote jokes, but I was kind of seriously considering trying out some stand up at one point. So I have like notes and notes so I could just look at this and then do a stand up act. But some of it's gross and some of it's kind of long. I have lots of ideas with stuff, lots of ideas. So I started buying these cheapy notebooks, and I have all of my action figures are archived in a notebook. This has a whole bunch of jokes. COVID-19. It must suck, pun intended, to be a vampire during this time. You can't hang out in the bar parking lots because everyone's at home. No one invites you inside. You have to wear a mask and no one is intimidated by your fangs. And COVID tainted blood tastes funny. That's what I wrote down. Interesting. I'm an avid indoorsman. Okay, that's me. The great outdoors is for the birds. If it's so great, then why are the werewolves trying to get into my apartment? Why did I write werewolves? hmm. Hmm. It's a good thing that I write stuff down because I'm just going to smoke and I'm going to forget about it. I also have these. I should break them out. I don't know where they are right now, but I have micro cassette recorders and a whole bunch of cassettes. Because at one time I was gonna just carry one around in my pocket, and if I had an idea, I was just gonna record it. Just record it. What are some of my ideas? I can't think of anything right offhand. I'd have to go find them and listen to them. Just I'd have a funny thought, something that made me really laugh. I'm like, oh, joke, 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 joke. Yeah, record. But I never did it. I did use it a little bit, but not as much as I wanted to. And I could always bring those out. But it's easier to write this stuff down. I mean, I think I'm at 11 pages now. It's like every time I want to cover the stuff that I already wrote, I think of something else, and then I write 3 or 4 more pages. Like I was gonna go into the pain aspect of my childhood life, but I decided to hit the religion instead because suddenly it just occurred to me, and I started writing stuff down, and 2.5 pages later, here I am talking about it. So again, I hope these videos help somebody. I'm not saying that they will, and I'm not saying that this is some kind of magic that's going to help everyone. This is just me telling my story and my experiences of my feelings going through life. I understand that life is not as easy for everyone. It was not easy for me, and I just want to tell my stories and experiences and share them with everyone. And hopefully, some people will hear and connect. And this is just like a reflection and introspection. Me getting it out and trying to understand maybe why I act the way I do, why I react the way I do. I understand some of the things that really bother me, but I don't understand what to do with it and how to handle it and how to react. Once I hit a certain point, then that fuse lights and there's no stopping it. And then I get really upset. And that's, and like I said, we're going to cover the that right there where I would get upset and then everyone would just be mad at me for being upset. Nobody ever asked me why I was upset. Just let me be upset. And we need a little more understanding, like, okay, you're upset. Why are you upset? What is bothering you? That might help rather than just blaming somebody for being upset. So, that being said, I think this video is going pretty well, and I will say I am very, very excited about making these, and I'm excited the way that they're, being received. And I just ask all of you that are watching, thank you so much. Please share it with everyone. I know there's people out there that know what it's like and then they can connect, they can relate. I want to remind everybody that we all have each other. We're not alone. I'm not alone. You're not alone. Just share this with as many people as you can. And I want to just get my story out there. I just want people to understand and hear it and just all of us to share and just I don't know what else to say. So I'm going to finish with that. And I will say thank you for watching. And I will see you again very, very soon.